Hey, what's going on, everybody? This Snack Box, I'm coming to you. I'm with my buddy Josh here. We are about to start a hike in the rainy North Carolina wilderness. We are headed out to do a little time on the Mountains to Sea trail. We're gonna hopefully get in here and set up shop somewhere where we can get out of this rain, play some cards, and hopefully just chill out for the rest of the night. So I think that's about it. A little different video for you. Let's do it. Just a nice day to be out in the woods, you know what I mean? 2021 is going to be all right. The incoming rain meant that we couldn't hike very far before we set up camp next to a river. We put up our tents, hung out with the pups for a little while, gave them some water, and then spent some time exploring the surrounding area. Josh wants to go to the top of this rock.
Whoop. Nobody wants to see that.
That's beautiful! It's the storm we're gonna get caught in later. Josh here, actually direct descendant of Vincent van Gogh. It's worth knowing. They look eerily similar. Eerily? Sorry. Because we weren't quite sure when the storms would push in, we just hung around camp for a good bit before making a little bit of dinner. You can see here that the pups were really excited to spend some time outside, and Josh was just excited to be away, having a good time hanging out in the woods. It's great to see him, and it was great to be able to hang out and catch up with a buddy from college. Cafe Bustelo. So for those of you instant coffee nuts out there looking for a good cup of joe on the trail, Cafe Bustelo is about 99 cents for 6 of these little guys here, and these are really good. They're way better than a lot of the more expensive ones at Starbucks, and they're just really good, really inexpensive. Highly recommend. Put a little bit of hot water in it and you are good to go. Make that polenta. Do you know what they call polenta if you put a couple of dollars into it?
Rich Linton?
Yeah, look, got him. So for dinner tonight, I wanted to tell you a little bit about what we've got here. We've got a different polenta dish, sort of like the one that I cooked with John a few weeks back. And I wanted to show you this here. So what I did is I made it at home, but this guy here is actually really neat. It is a biodegradable vacuum seal pouch. Now, if you want it to vacuum seal, you have to have one of those really expensive, like $5,000, the chamber vacuum sealers, I think they're called. But don't let that stop you from picking these up and using them. I'll put a link below for these. I bought a bunch of them, and actually the cool thing about my vacuum sealer, which is the cheap one, is it still seals it nice. That's the same thing. It just doesn't vacuum seal it. So I made a little bit at home, and what I did is just put the polenta in, and I went through my spice rack and just hit it with everything, especially a lot of rosemary in this one. And then we brought a bunch of these little tabs of cheese, and these are great for a backpacking trip. They'll keep in your backpack. I've taken them up to like 7 or 8 days. And what will happen is they'll get greasy, but because they're airtight and they're they're airtight, you're going to be able to hang on to these and they're not going to get bad. And so they're particularly good if you're going to melt them in something. And then picked up a little bag of real bacon bits. But again, if you're a vegetarian, leave the bacon bits out and you're good to go. If you are vegan, you can leave the cheese out and you're good to go. It's a really great way to go. And look how small this is. This is the size of the pat of cheese, and it's tiny, and this is the food for both Josh and me. It's pretty good. But check out these biodegradable vacuum seal pouches. It's not perfect because we do have plastic here, but every little bit counts, right? Just put it in. If you remember, you're gonna add this slowly and you're gonna stir a lot. So that's really the key here. As it gets hot, that's fine, you can do it then. It doesn't matter how long you cook it, it's gonna be golden. I like to add a little bit, shake it around, stir, stir, stir. Be real careful about the pot, especially this big double pot. You don't want it tipping over on a puppy's paws, you know what I mean? I like to add this early though. That way the rosemary, which is kind of, it can be a little stiff. You want to make sure that rosemary has time to soften. That's it. I'm going to put this bag down so I can hold it. Keep stirring. We'll be good to go. That's it. Just make sure you get the real bacon. Don't get Bacos because it's just going to end up tasting like little tough bits of like tree. It's not good, but real bacon, obviously pretty decent. So that's that. I added early so that we can get the salt in it, have a little more salt. It's starting to get thick. I realized while we were making this that if you don't cook it hot enough, it doesn't thicken very well. So make sure that you cook it really hot, and if you need to do that, just be sure you keep stirring it, and it's going to turn out pretty great. But that's starting to look really good right there. And as promised, we've got some hook polenta. Got more polenta for any of you all. Come get it. What's the verdict, Josh? This was one of those interesting hikes when Josh and I quit being friends, so it happens. Sometimes people aren't supportive of your polenta, sometimes they're not supportive of your career, your partner, a lot of things, but when it's polenta with cheese, then it's just a character flaw and you have to cut people loose, so fairly well. So that's why I like making my own backpacking meals, because that is like, we're talking about, I mean, all told, maybe like $3 for both of us to have this really great dinner. I think it's really great. If you want to talk more about polenta, we'll talk about polenta. It's kind of my thing. Terry, you all right, bub? Is it making you crazy? As expected, that night there were gale force winds. Our tents almost blew over, so we woke up early and hiked out in the morning. But here's one last shot before we took off for the day. Thanks everybody for joining me, Josh, Tara, and Katie on a little bit of an adventure in the North Carolina wilderness. Hope you'll join me again. Coming up soon, I'm going to be taking a trip up to Isle Royale National Park, and I look forward to talking to you all later, and I hope you're doing well. This is Snackbox out.